had a story about Edgar Casey being one of the first students at Southern School of Photography, and it was here, and it had this whole thing. So I found it, I'm always looking for connections, you know, or just unusual coincidences, which I don't believe there is any, that I'd went off to his school, and I live in the town where he came to his school. Mr. Lively had created it. So that was a unique connection that I didn't put together till just a few weeks ago. I have always been the first one to say, you know, I've trained a lot of people and I know people that do it really well and I trust them. I will always reach out and say, you know, I'm having this either fears, phobias is a big thing for a lot of people, panic, anxiety attack. Just it pops up out of the blue. I love to have that work done on me because it is so effective and I get so much from it. So I feel like we never stop healing, growing, being educated and learning. I feel like life is just an ongoing lesson anyway, so I'm very much a big believer in having the hypnosis done, going to that relaxed awareness and asking, you know, what do I need to do? What's my next step? And getting my own answers.
The My Usage app is a way to conveniently pay online, anytime, day or night. You can also come by any Caney Fork Electric office and sign up for the prepay option available using the My Usage app. Know exactly how much electricity is used each day and the cost. Best of all, no monthly bill. You can set up email or text alerts, keep track of your usage, and pay your bill, all with the My Usage app from Caney Fork. Caney Fork Electric, keeping you informed.
Not many things last a lifetime, but when they do, there's something special. Dr. Pepper. Good for life, good for the community.
Douglas and Lanier, that's where I choose to be. Douglas and Lanier, that's the agency for me.
For rock-solid insurance coverage or sound financial planning for my family's future, Douglas and Lanier is where I choose to call home.
Communitytvtn is brought to you by Security Federal Savings Bank, proudly serving the community we call home.
Safer medication experience through convenient, personalized packaging using the latest in pharmacy robotics. We're located at 357 West Main Street. Our phone number is 931-473-6418.
McMinnville, you're a great place to be. McMinnville, Tennessee.
From the small towns in our community to the big hearts in our own back door. This is their stories. This is a part of their life shared with you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Ramirez. A lot of people in this area, in this community, knows me as Stephanie West. The reason I began hypnosis and hypnotherapy in this career was very unintentional. I had not planned on anything like this. I worked at the hospital, worked at GNC, but my son's father went to a stop smoking seminar with hypnosis here in McMinnville. It was a couple that comes in from Murfreesboro, and they do a seminar once or twice a year here. And he went to it, his mom paid for it. He came back, he was real impressed. 3 months went by and he was still doing great on the stop smoking. He approached me and he said, you know, I know that we could do this together and it could be something we could do together, and it would just be a great career. So he asked me to research. I did a little research, found a place in Virginia Beach, the ARE, which where Edgar Casey created a school there. The Navy, I believe, or the military there, donated the building to Edgar Casey because he worked with our government for many years. He's famous for finding the Lindenberg baby and all that kind of stuff, so he's got a lot of history there. I knew he was from Kentucky. I knew he did photography, like his first career, and a friend of mine sent me, she follows like the McMinnville historical community, and she sent where it had a story about Edgar Casey being one of the first students at Southern School of Photography, and it was here, and it had this whole thing. So I found it, I'm always looking for connections, you know, or just unusual coincidences, which I don't believe there is any, that I'd went off to his school, and I live in the town where he came to his school. Mr. Lively had created it. So that was a unique connection that I didn't put together till just a few weeks ago. It just made it feel all that more special to me, you know, that he was here and I was there at his place. And I've always respected his, I guess, readings or his books. They talk about how he was a devout Christian. He read the Bible from start to finish every year. He would tell people what scriptures to read to go home and to help themselves. His wife would count him down. He would get this extra information that he did a lot of readings for the people, the parents of soldiers that were in war. He did that for free. He read and let them know if their sons or daughters were coming back from war. And he says, I cannot charge for that. But mostly it was medical readings. He was referred to as the father of holistic medicine. And he did medical intuitive work, which a person had went for all kinds of tests, wasn't getting the doctors had given up, finding out what was wrong, and they would write into him, and he would go into his alpha. And I truly believe he was asking God, you know, like in a prayer, to give him that answer for the, you know, to help that person. So I, just like any other, I guess, health practitioner or someone, you know, we're always going to have our own personal issues, health issues, physical, emotional. I have always been the first one to say, you know, I've trained a lot of people and I know people that do it really well and I trust them. I will always reach out and say, you know, I'm having this either fears, phobias is a big thing for a lot of people, panic, anxiety attack. Just it pops up out of the blue. I love to have that work done on me because it is so effective and I get so much from it. So I feel like we never stop healing, growing, being educated and learning. I feel like life is just an ongoing lesson anyway. So I'm very much a big believer in having the hypnosis done, going to that relaxed awareness and asking, you know, what do I need to do? What's my next step? And getting my own answers in what I need to be, you know, taken care of. But hypnosis, hypnotherapy, that came to me. I didn't really plan on doing this type of work. I went to a class to actually help myself heal and figure out what was really going on. I just had my son and I could not give him a bath. I couldn't take him to pool parties when we were invited to little birthday parties and little events. I mean, the water issue became extraordinarily terrible. And signed up for a week-long basic class in Virginia Beach at the Edgar Casey ARE. And I was having a spontaneous regression and didn't know it. We would all be counted down, like as a group. The teacher would count down, and I would, you know, close my eyes and start to see, I would have these little visuals and have these feelings of almost like panic. And toward the end of the class, he actually picked me to be a demo, because I think he could just tell me I was like really messed up in the back. And out of 30 people, he picked me, and I had a spontaneous past life regression. And I did not know what they were. It was something, it was not a subject I'd studied. So, you know, I had no idea what they were. All I knew is it felt real, what I was seeing and feeling, and it was my son in another life that had drowned in a well, and I lost her there. So it was a very odd beginning, and that sort of caused me to want to go back and do more, because in that one, I was released from that 6 months of having anxiety. I could just sponge him. I couldn't get him near the tub. He would scream, I would cry. It was terrible. One reason was for my own healing. So I did not intend to be a therapist of any kind. It was just a search, because I'd went to therapists, had taken medication to calm the nerves, had done everything I thought I could, and I was almost desperate going into this class. So that was a wonderful thing, and then that led to, when I got back to this area, some people had heard that I was certified, and they approached me and said, hey, we have an extra office. Would you like to come in with us? We won't charge you anything. We just would like to experience hypnosis or have you there as a person we could refer our clients to. So I didn't, that was like another synchronicity thing. It just came, it kept coming and laying in my lap. I've never had to seek or look for a place to work. When that place, they decided to change or move, I got a call from another place that said, hey, I'm opening up a new wellness place here in Tullahoma. I've heard about you. I have a space if you want to come, and I'll refer people to you, and I'll just take a little off the top. So then when that place, everything changed and they decided to go different, a third place called me. So it was pretty wild. I hadn't even thought about it, but it seemed like a good fit. It seemed easy. The people were great. I became very busy for the first 2 years. So much so, because of the issues that were coming in my door and I was being faced with, it wasn't just the stop smoking and weight maintenance or management or pain control or fear and phobia release. It became a little bit more intense, some paranormal, just very unusual stuff you might see on TV, things that these people that were coming to me, they had went pretty much every route they could take before coming to me in a desperate state, I guess you could say. So I sent myself back to get the master's. I took every type of specialization you could take back then. That was in 1999 to 2002. So I became a hypnoanesthesiologist. I was one of 3 in Tennessee back in the early 2000s. Worked with people with pain control, getting them ready for surgeries, maybe it's like local surgeries that they were allergic to the medicine. It gave them an opportunity and a different way to get their procedures done without having to risk being allergic or death. My dad even approached me and asked me to work on him. He was having some surgery on his face for cancer spots, and he reached out to me the night before, asked me, and he even said, I don't understand what you do and I don't believe in what you do, but do you think it would help me? Because I'm getting ready to back out and not have it done, but it was melanoma on the face. He was afraid that they would have to go so deep and take his nose off. He had a lot of fears, which is very unusual for my dad. And he said, I'm also deaf, so I won't be able to hear you. And I said, well, that part of you that knows will hear, and all we can do is try. And so he went to the surgery the next day. Everything that he wanted to transpire happened, and it was really funny to watch my dad being, I think he was in his probably late 60s, early 70s, respond so well to it. Everyone can be and is hypnotized by TV, driving, working the same job. So hypnosis, or the hypnotherapy state, is very natural. And that's what intrigued me, the mind and what we could really achieve with hypnosis. And I knew for my own self how good it worked for me after having an issue for, say, 33, 35 years. So as time went on, I kept getting, people would just call me, refer me. I never really had to advertise. I was in the paper a couple of times. They did really good write-ups here at the Southern Standard. I was in Woodbury just the other day, taking a little class just for fun with a friend, and a lady walked up to me and remembered me, and she said, "Do you remember me? Do you remember you did hypnosis on me?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I've done so many." And she said, "You did the stop smoking on me 20 years ago, and I have not picked up a smoke since." So that makes me feel really good when I'm out in the community, or here, Woodbury, Murfreesboro, Tullahoma. I did a lot, Manchester, throughout the last 20 years. So it makes me feel really good when I hear that. A lot of them don't get back in touch with me for years, and I wonder about them. I might call them, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm okay." But later they say, that really made a difference. And I really don't do anything. I just guide them to that really powerful part of the alpha mind, the alpha level. So I've been approached by medical doctors from Kentucky in the year 2002, and they asked me to actually create a training school for medical doctors, training medical doctors in more alternative or extra complementary type procedures. So that has been where my passion is. I love to teach, I love to share, I love to show others that they can add this method into their career, or especially in the healing field or helping fields. I've trained psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health counselors. I've trained nurses, hospice nurses, massage therapists, worked on ministers, worked on teachers, principals, medical people. You would think only a certain type would come to me, but it's been everybody from every profession. And it's all confidential. I have my minister's license, so my records and everything is protected. So I don't have to share that with anybody. And it just, even 20 plus years later, it still amazes me how wonderful God has created our mind to be, and we just only use just a tiny bit of it. Hypnosis takes you from the level called beta, which is 4%, 10% ability of the mind. They say even Einstein maybe used 10% of his brain or his mind. That's called beta. That's what we do everyday life with. That's why it seems such a struggle. Willpower seems so fleeting. It comes and goes. Achieving things like cold turkey, they call it, is very hard. Even smoking or a habit, trying to quit cold turkey, is like 5% success. When you help that person get into the alpha level of the mind, that is 2,000 plus. Your ability to focus, to solve, to resolve a lot of issues, to answer your own questions, that kicks up to 2,000%. So with hypnosis, if you have one issue that you've been trying to overcome or heal or balance out, instead of it being a 5% success, now it jumps up to like a 96% success. Instead of psychotherapy or psychoanalysis or behavior modification, that can start at 400 sessions to 800. With hypnosis, because of the power of that 2,000% alpha brain, 6 to 8 sessions or 6 to 8 hours of having, all that lined up, smoothed out, and moving the way you want to. So it gives them back their own control, their own abilities, their own power over whatever's happened to them, be it a trauma or an accident or just a emotional trauma. It gives them back everything they lost in that. They retrieve their gifts, their lessons, their abilities to just get it done. So it gives them back their ability to manage and control their own life rather than feeling like something is taken over or taken away from them.
My name is Jermaine Bumbelow, and I have lived a life like most people with lots of ups and downs. And through Stephanie's help, finally I met her, which was no coincidence. Finally I found how to find the answers to everything I've been looking for. I did not understand as a child why I had so much anxiety, why I suffered anxiety. I loved school. I've always had a drive. It's deep down in here that I knew there was better things for me. And I knew I would find a way. So years of psychotherapy, all through high school, went to college, all through college. I succeeded. I did everything that a human's supposed to do, I thought, to be what I wanted to be, which was a teacher. And I got married. I met my soulmate. Everything was great. The bottom fell out again. The anxiety, the looking in the mirror, not understanding who is this person. I'm searching. I'm still pumping it every day, going, teaching, doing my job, raising my daughter, having a child. And my husband some days literally pushing me to the car because my anxiety was so horrid. I couldn't bear going to school. But I knew it was like something in the back of my mind was like, you are going to prove to everybody. You're going to do it. You're going to show them. And so 30 years go by.
30 years of career.
30 years of a career.
Yeah.
Ups and downs, but I managed. I mean, there was trips to Florida where we would literally get there and my anxiety would be so bad. My poor husband would turn around and come home. And my child crying in the back, I want to go to see the dolphins. And I'm like,
I gotta
standing
get
on
home.
the side of the interstate squalling because I can't even stand to be in the car. And so it's just kind of like things started falling into place. Coincidences, like we were talking earlier, synchronicities, and Stephanie's having a retreat. I did not know Stephanie. I mean, we went to high school together.
We didn't know
each other.
She texted me the night before,
Somebody
and I agreed to let her come.
on Facebook or somewhere, and it got to me, and I asked if I could come, and I was painting. I paint, and that was I brought my painting.
Yeah, you said to me, that morning on her way over, she says, well, I had to paint these till midnight, and I think they belong to you.
Yeah.
Can I bring them, and can I bring some of their artwork?
I didn't understand
Why
how
these?
spirit worked through us, but I would feel these things coming, and I had to put it on a canvas, and so I was getting these angels, and so I was like, I painted an angel that night. I was like, okay, I got to paint another angel. I got to paint another angel.
Paint 3.
And I couldn't stop until I got those done. And I
They
was
were
like, "What
still
is
wet
wrong
when
with
she
me?"
brought
I was
them
like,
to the class.
what is wrong?
Yeah.
You know, why am I doing this? And I thought she's going to think I'm crazy because I'm not one to ever have put my art out there. I just didn't. And I actually had an art studio I had opened, but it was more about me teaching people how to do it. I never did it. I never wanted to promote myself. I've always been a teacher. So that's how it got started.
Yeah.
So we met that weekend. She actually had a session like this, but it was a whole weekend. And she rocked my world. It was like everything that I ever was searching for, it was there.
Yeah.
And finally I got answers. The beginning of answers.
The beginning. That was
not
7 years ago.
But it was a way.
Yeah.
It was a tool.
A stepping stone. Like.
It was a technique that could help me, heal me.
And it was through her art, a lot of her own healing and healing for others. I hope you don't mind me interjecting, because that was what I saw, that her art was very important. And she would meet somebody and see an animal or an angel, and she would have to paint it and give it to them. And she's like, what's going on? And I was like, that's how you transfer healing. You are painting healing codes, and that's doing something for that person without them having to struggle, go through all this. You're handing them a healing painting, their own. Anyway, I love her art. It's very impactful for me. Suggestive therapy doesn't quite fix what a person has come for. If there's just still something blocking, you can say, hey, while you have them in alpha, say, well, where did this begin? Where did this need to have this anxiety?
Is suggestive therapy alpha level?
Yes. Yeah, suggestive therapy is like a beginner's. When you're working on somebody and they're like, hey, I have this fear, or I want to accomplish something, you can do powerful suggestions when you have them in the hypnotic alpha state. But say, for instance, you surpass like 6 or 7 sessions on the same thing, and they just don't have a complete healing from it or resolve, that's when you can start posing and asking questions. And that's more regression therapy, when you start asking that type of questions, rather than saying, okay, picture and see yourself stepping into your career, your goal. You do regression, and it will, when you pose that question, it will regress them. Their mind says, oh, I know where that is. It's in our subconscious. And they'll pull it up. So you can mix the two. You can definitely mix suggestion and regression together. You can say, now that you know this is what you want, anything from your past, you'll be able to see it, analyze it, and clear it out of your way. So you can sort of blend those two together eventually. That makes sense? Okay. We do have another level of the mind. It's called theta. Theta is an even deeper, almost what they call somnambulistic level. Theta is where people have almost like a spiritual experience. It's right before they drift off to sleep or the dream time. Delta is where they have dreams. Theta is, and you really don't even notice you've left the alpha and went into theta. It's just a natural flow. But theta, I've had people say, there's an angel. There's a light being in front of me, and it's talking to me, and it's giving me information. Or they're experiencing almost an out-of-body experience into a very full of light type place. So theta is pretty wonderful, but alpha and theta, it's like you'll go in them and out of them. Sort of like a slow roll. And then, of course, the beta mind is still aware, and it's like, but what is this? And it'll try to analyze and make sense of it, because you have to realize it's at 4% understanding, and you're showing it this 2,000 plus, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So it's a big shift, but it's natural, and it's within us all. I truly believe that God is present everywhere, within us, around us, in everything, all of creation. My belief in God is really strong, and it became stronger once I experienced this type of, this part of my mind. And I believe that God created that part of me, and it's in all of us. So we're connected to everything here. It was all made for us. So the Redstone, I call it Finding Yourself retreats. I provide a good space where people can get educated. They can bring all the questions, all their concerns, and I will answer everything. And if I don't have the answer, I can refer them to others that have been in this career even longer than me. So hypnosis is a complementary type approach. I was trained by people that knew that this could be incorporated along with other modalities, not to take the place of, but just to assist a little bit more into like deeper healing work or just deeper self-healing if a person is looking for that.